John Murphy, we actually worked a long time in conjunction with John Murphy on this add-on, and you'll see why. Mainly due to the fact that a chart pattern, a pattern within a chart, is actually very, very difficult to quantify mathematically. But we were able to really go in going through his philosophy and his interpretations of the patterns that he saw within the charts. We were able to quantify that and essentially take his system and put it within MetaStock. Now, for those of you who don't know who John Murphy is, he's actually been a professional trader for a very long time. He's actually the author of 3 best-selling books, Technical Analysis of Financial Markets, Inter-Market Technical Analysis, and The Visual Investor. One that's not on that list that I actually love is Charting Made Easy by John Murphy, and that's such a good book by him. He's also the president of murphymorris.com, so you guys might be familiar with kind of his background. Now let's get into exactly what this add-on does. And basically, in short, what it does is it identifies trend reversals and trend continuation patterns that might lead to a trend reversal. This actually is one of our first add-ons in MetaStock that we did many, many years ago, in which we had pre-built systems within MetaStock, but we wanted to actually go out there and start working with some professional investors and actually getting their systems put in, and this was one of the first ones that was put into MetaStock. And it actually is the best-selling add-on of all time. This is one of my favorite add-ons just due to the fact that it is very, very simple to use. Now, with a lot of systems out there and a lot of add-ons, they can get pretty in-depth. Typically, with a lot of them, you have to read and the author's books and really be familiar with the concepts that author actually teaches to use the add-on effectively. This, on the other hand, I mean, it definitely helps, but this add-on will actually walk you through and show you what chart patterns you're seeing. Now, what it comes with is, first off, an instructional booklet that, again, will visually walk you through and show you not only what the patterns consist of, but also the interpretation of those patterns, how to calculate entry, how to calculate entry points and exit points. Robert, just to answer your question, it is Chart Pattern Recognition by John Murphy. So just to kind of catch up a little bit there. Now, within the add-on itself is 1 expert advisor and 2 explorations, which I'll get into here a little bit more as to exactly what they do. Robert, no problem whatsoever. First off, we want to take a look at the patterns that are actually identified within this add-on. Reversal patterns, number 1, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, triple tops, triple bottoms, double tops, and double bottoms. Some of you guys might be okay, Stanley. Good. Let me know if you have any questions. Some of you guys might be familiar with a few of these patterns. Now, the continuation patterns that are covered in this add-on are symmetrical triangles, ascending triangles, and descending triangles. And the way that I like to look at continuation patterns is they are signifying a reversal in trend. Now, what I want to do is I want to cover what these patterns mean very, very briefly, and then I want to get into the actual application as to how you can use this with MetaStock. Now, first thing I want to tackle is head and shoulders. The head and shoulders pattern is very indicative of a reversal pattern. And as you can see here, I took a chart of Microsoft a while back, and I was actually able to find this pattern with the chart pattern recognition add-on. And what this signifies is the head and shoulders pattern here. Now, here, as you can see, and what with the case with most of these patterns is they start with a trend. So what we're looking for is a reversal in this trend. So we start off with the trend. This is an upward moving trend. As you can see, it's actually quite a long trend. We start having a little volatility in this with this instrument here, and basically what the head and shoulders is indicative of is a reversal. Okay, so we're peaking out and we're getting this reversal. Now, as you can see, we're basically getting the head right in the middle, the two shoulders, and we have basically a trend, almost like a trend line, as the referred to as the neckline. Okay. Now, what you see here is a layout at the HST, stands for head and shoulders. The diamond that you're going to see here is actually the confirmation signal. So these patterns will actually show you the pattern and then the actual confirmation of that pattern afterwards. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the inverse head and shoulders, where we have peaks and troughs, but primarily what we're looking at is three major troughs. And then we have our confirmation signal of a new trend here starting once our open is a little bit higher. So we have this diamond here stands for the actual confirmation signal. So again, in this case, we have a downward trend. We establish our first trough and it starts to recoup a little bit, and we establish another trough for the head. Again, it's going to bounce up a little bit. We've established a neckline at that point, and then we actually have our trend reversal, and this again is a long trend reversal. The next pattern we're going to take a look at as a reversal pattern is the triple tops trend reversal pattern. Now, triple tops is it occurs relatively frequently, especially in a little bit more volatile instruments. As highlighted here, and actually all within the add-on, all of these patterns do get highlighted in different colors, and they will be labeled here that the end of the pattern, the triple top pattern, is right here. As you can see, again, we have the beginning of a trend down here, and this is actually a long upward trend. We have our triple top, so we're establishing three high points with a couple of troughs in the middle. Now notice how the troughs are actually even, and that's something we want to pay attention to so that this is not identified as a different pattern as an ascending triangle, which we'll get into a little bit more. But what we're doing here is we're establishing three heights of the instrument, three tops that are relatively close together with troughs that are pretty darn even. Okay, and we get our reversal and our confirmation down here with actually a doji. The same it can be said for our triple bottom, so it's just the inverse of a triple top. And what this is doing is it's establishing a support line or a resistance line. In this case, it's a support line where we have these triple bottoms, and it actually bounces off this red line multiple times here, and then we have the trend reversal and our confirmation signal here at the end. Now the same can be said for double tops. Now the double tops, you're going to see something very, very familiar. A double top can turn into a triple top later on down the road. In this case, it did not. We do have, again, an upward trend, and then our identifying signal, our confirmation signal, which is the diamond at the end of, right next to the DT, as you can see for double top. If we reverse this pattern, it's a double bottom, and again, it is indicative of a reversal. Now, what I want to do is actually I want to get into a couple of the continuation patterns. Now, the continuation patterns are very, very important because with these patterns, they are triangular patterns, which means they are coming to they are heading towards a point. And the closer and closer we get to this point, the more likely we are of a breakout. Especially, this chart of coals, we're looking at a beautiful symmetrical triangle, which means we basically have our highs and lows coming to a point which signifies compression. And at the end of this pattern, we actually break out to the top. Okay. So a symmetrical triangle here is we have kind of a channel of compression coming to a point, and then the breakout afterwards. The descending triangle, this is a little bit different. What we're looking for is the instrument to actually break this support level at the bottom. So the bottom red line here of the descending triangle is essentially the support line. As you can see, it bounces a couple of times off of it, and we have kind of a downward trend. What we're looking for, as far as the confirmation is concerned, is the instrument to dive past this support level. Ascending triangle is the exact opposite. So we're looking for an upward trend coming out of this pattern. Now, what we see here is basically a resistance line that this instrument has hit multiple times on an upward trend. So we're looking for a little bit of a breakout here. And as you can see, after this confirmation signal, and even after the pattern, we have a pretty strong upward movement. Now, again, with these continuation patterns, what we are looking for is the breakout afterwards. Now, the good news is you don't have to memorize all of this right now or go back to the YouTube video, after I've put it up. The expert commentary is actually going to walk you through step by step the interpretation of these different instruments. Now, what this brings us to is the point in which I want to actually start getting into some of what it can actually do for you. So let's take a look at MetaStock. So what we're going to do is start applying what we've learned so far to MetaStock, but I want to be able to visually see it without just the screenshots. So let's take a look. Now, if you guys have ever attended a webinar of mine before, I am a workflow-based trader. Now, what I believe is that we should be able to take the emotion out of our trading. The difficult part in taking the emotion out of our trading is all of our tendencies to start interpretation of what we're seeing in different ways, or letting fear or hype overcome what the chart is actually telling us. Now, the golden rule behind technical analysis is removing the hype and emotion from your trading. And that's what this add-on really allows you to do. It is a little bit open to interpretation as to how we view these charts and these patterns and what we feel is going to happen next, but it's able to visually show you exactly how you should interpret this specific chart pattern. Now, with MetaStock, again, I believe strongly in getting into a workflow, and this add-on is wonderful for that. So if you're looking at the chart pattern recognition add-on, what we want to do is see how we can get into a workflow very easily. The first part of my workflow is to find instruments that are actually that actually have these signals. Okay. Now, with this add-on, it's actually very, very specific. Since it's a pattern-based add-on, like I was telling you a little bit earlier, guys, it is mathematically very, very hard to essentially put on pattern to identify a pattern. So with this, the guidelines in which it looks for is very, very specific. So we have two explorations with the chart pattern recognition add-on. The first of which is a confirmed entry signal. Now, if we go back to what we were looking at in the PowerPoint, we were looking at the actual pattern itself and then that diamond at the end as a confirmation signal. So this scan right here, this exploration, is going to come back with the instruments that have a confirmed signal with one of those patterns. The second is an unconfirmed entry signal. Now the unconfirmed is simply showing you and bringing back the instruments that just have the pattern. Now there's very, very specific rules as far as determining what your confirmation signal after you've seen a pattern are, and that actually comes within the booklet, the user's manual that comes with this add-on. Now we're going to, since we want to see multiple results, we're going to look at the unconfirmed entry signal. So we're going to go ahead and pick the John Murphy unconfirmed entry signal. We're going to go ahead and hit next. I'm going to scan across the S&P 500 today. So we choose the S&P 500, make sure all of the instruments are checked. Hit next. Now with this add-on, you want to load 500 records. So we're going to take our daily interval, 500 records, and we're going to start the exploration. Now this screen that pops up is basically a status screen. It's only going to take about a minute to scan through all 500 instruments to look for one of these patterns. Now this status screen is going to show us the amount rejected. It's going to basically show us the status, how far we are into the scan. And we should get a few results for each of these patterns. All right, so already done. So this screen pops up, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the reports. Now the next screen that you see here is the reports. Now these results, it came back with about 15 to 20 different instruments that came back with one of our patterns. Now what we're taking a look at here is the breakdown of the exploration and exactly what came back. Now in each column we have our head and shoulders, we have our triple tops and bottoms, our double tops and bottoms, our symmetrical triangles, ascending triangles, descending, etc. So we have the breakdown of each pattern in these columns, and if it has a 1 next to it, that means that it did actually tick with that pattern. In other words, it does have that pattern currently. Now, with whatever pattern we're looking at here, we can actually take a look at just by double clicking. So if we double click their symmetrical triangle, that's what we're looking for here. If we double click it, the results that came back with a symmetrical triangle will automatically populate to the top. Same thing with any of these patterns. Didn't look like we returned any head and shoulders or triple or double tops here. So let's take a look at our symmetrical. So we had these instruments, and let's just take, let's say, 4 of them. So I'm going to highlight 4 of these instruments, and let's take a look at how we did. So we're going to go ahead and open a chart of these 4 instruments. Now a couple of these I've actually already gone through and added the expert advisor to, so I'm going to go ahead and click on one that I haven't, just so I can show you how to apply the expert advisor. Now the expert advisor for the chart pattern recognition is actually, it's very, very, very handy. So what it does is it's automatically going to highlight these different patterns for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and right-click on the chart, go down to Expert Advisor. We're going to attach an Expert Advisor, and we're going to scroll down here to John Murphy Chart Pattern Recognition. Go ahead and hit OK. And as you can see, this is actually the symmetrical triangle is the, and I don't know if, can you guys see that that is a green color? So that the symmetrical triangle is a green color. Can you guys see that okay? Okay. Okay. Great. Now the symmetrical triangle here, as you can see, this is actually moving a little bit sideways. Let's take a couple of trend lines here and draw them. And for the most part, as you can see, we're starting to kind of funnel in as far as our pricing is concerned. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the beginning of this this trend. Let's go ahead and take these trend lines. We want to move them out a little bit. And what we can do is actually, if we double click on the trend line itself, we can make this a little bit thicker. Want to make sure the resolution is good for you guys, so I'm going to make these lines a little bit thicker for you. Change color on. You guys can see those lines okay? Okay, good. So what we're looking at here is a symmetrical triangle. Now, if you guys remember the rules of a symmetrical triangle, what we're looking for is a point in which the highs and lows are actually, the movement from day to day is actually compressing with the instrument. And that's exactly what J.M. Smucker is doing, this instrument that we're looking at right here. So we can see the beginning of the pattern all the way to currently we are still in this pattern. So we would actually hold off and kind of look, because remember guys, this is not a confirmed pattern yet. Most likely it will be, but you know, you can actually wait for it to say that it is a confirmed pattern. The confirmation signal would most likely come pretty soon in the form of one of those diamonds. Now, looking at this, you have an established trend beforehand, and then we start having this volatility start compress a little bit. So the likelihood of this instrument breaking out one way or another is pretty high. And as we get further and further along into this channel, this is going to continue to compress more and more. And as it compresses more and more, again, that likelihood is going to go very, very high up that this is going to break out one way or another. Now let's take a look at one of our other charts. Let's take a look at Zions Bank. Now we're going to go ahead and attach our expert advisor. Scroll down to our John Murphy. Okay, so here we actually have multiple symmetrical triangle patterns, and we have a confirmation, actually a really good confirmation signal on Zions Bank. Now let's go ahead and take our trend lines and let's draw them here to the end of the pattern. That one's a little bit. And as you can see with this, they're not going to, typically, they're not going to form a perfect triangle, but what we're looking for is these areas of compression with the instrument. Okay, so again, as we get further and further along in this pattern, we are getting more and more of a confirmation that it is going to break out one way or another. Now, the good thing about this instrument specifically is the fact that we actually did get this confirmation signal right here. Scroll back a little bit. This was our confirmation signal, and we did go into this 2 weeks or so reversal trend right here. Okay. Now with this, what we can do is look forward into the future a little bit, well actually to the current, where another trend has actually happened, another symmetrical triangle has actually populated right here. So we can look at the past and go ahead and assume that it's going to move in the same direction. We can do our analysis from there. Now what I want to do is actually show you the expert commentary that goes along with this add-on, because it is very, very helpful in actually establishing your trade guidelines and the rules of what these instruments actually, or rather these patterns actually mean. So we're going to go down to the expert advisor and we're going to click on commentary. Now what this does is it attaches the actual John Murphy commentary system to your chart. And as you can see here, there's a little black arrow at the bottom. So what I want to do is I want to select a day in which we had a confirmation signal. Let me scroll in so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Okay. So we have our entry signal right here. And as you can see, if you scroll the arrows back and forth, you can actually pick the day in which you want to see the commentary. So the symmetrical triangle entry signal was generated. Enter along at the opening, and it's actually going to set this, the trade parameters for you. Now it's going to also give you basically a projection of where it's going. So the symmetrical triangle pattern is 31.8, etc., and is projected to be made within 28 bars from today. Maximum trade price objective is 33.8. So we can actually scroll back and look at these different patterns based off of the expert advisor. Okay. So if we go back to this triple bottom signal that was generated back on 1010, it will actually walk us through this. A triple bottom entry signal has been generated. Enter long at the open. So if we had entered long at the open of the next bar, which was established right here, you can see that a new trend was generated. So our triple bottom, the rules were a little bit different. So we're looking at bouncing off of a support line. Let's go ahead and throw a support line on here. So we bounced off of this support line multiple times, and basically what it is saying is wait for this movement up. And we had some very, very, very good movement after this signal was generated. Okay. Now what we're going to do is go back to one of our other charts here. Let's take a look at what haven't we looked at. Okay. Ooh, we have multiple patterns on Garmin. Okay, let's take a look. Let's close that. So looking here, we have multiple patterns within a short period of time. This is actually a pretty volatile instrument. Garmin, I've actually followed this instrument in the past. So we have multiple signals here. Now, taking a look at our double tops, for example, what we want to see is initially a trend. We want to see the instrument peak 2 times, and then we're going to be looking for a reversal in trend. Okay, so our trend here, a long uptrend that we have right here, and then we hit kind of a peak right around this range. Wayne, yes, actually you can use it for intraday as well. Very, very good question. Thank you for asking that. Now this is, I have this on a daily bar right now. We can actually change it to all end of day periodicities, but yes, this actually does work for intraday as well. I would say that this add-on, yes, it really is the most popular add-on we've ever had, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Thank you for the question. The The instruments are all, obviously we know they're all going to trade a little bit differently, and all of these systems out there based off of stochastics and different bands and oscillators, et cetera, can be pretty confusing. The basis we want to look at here, and kind of getting back to basics, are basic chart patterns and trend reversals. So with this add-on, this system being so simple to use, easy to take a look at it and search for different patterns, etc. This is an add-on I think that everybody should have, just due to the fact that it is so simple and basic to use. But it's very, very, very effective, and I think that that's why so many of our clients in the past have been using this add-on for so very, very, very long. These different chart patterns that are established within John Murphy's system are very, very basic patterns with very significant rules that we can adhere by. And what this add-on allows you to do is learn these different patterns and how to interpret these different patterns. And I think that that can be very, very powerful in our daily workflow. Especially when we have an instrument like Garmin, where we actually, we have our, many, many different patterns within a short period of time. It can help us look into the future and see exactly where this instrument could be going. Now, with this system, we want to pay close attention to the reversal patterns, but also keeping in mind we want to make sure that we are looking for our confirmation signals. Now, within the booklet that comes with this add-on, it explains to you the precise guidelines of the confirmation signals and why you're getting the confirmation signal that you're getting. So a very, very powerful tool there. Any other questions? Okay. And if you guys do have any questions afterwards, this video will be put out on YouTube so you can watch it again. I'll personally send you guys out the link to this, as well as my contact information. If you guys do need anything afterwards, have questions about this add-on, definitely let me know. With this add-on, we're actually doing a promotion right now because of our holiday promotion. The special offer for attending, normally this add-on is $299, but right now we will take $100 off of it just for attending this webinar in conjunction with our holiday promotion. If you guys do have any questions, again, my name is Hunter Smith. There's my phone number and my email address there, so if you guys need anything in the future, you can let me know. If you are a current user of MetaStock, definitely feel free to give me a call and we can chat about different options, money-saving options, etc. If you haven't used MetaStock before and are interested in trying it out, give me a call. We have multiple trials available. Different directions you can go, either end of day or intraday. Well, guys, thank you very much for attending this presentation. It's been a pleasure. And as always, happy trading.